upgrading a PRS standard. Well, not even an upgrade. So this weekend is pivotal for my guitar playing because I've been at this for months, but years. And I finally got on top of my backlog. I just put an Invader pickup in my, that's a Seymour Duncan Invader pickup in my ESP256. But the big one for me, because there was a guitar that I was trying to make my front runner. My 256, that's my all-rounder to be able to play what I want whenever I feel, but like just standard tuning, standard guitar, E, A, D, G, B, E, real simple. I got a PRS, unfortunately, it was on eBay one night and put in PRS, and I was like, oh, 4 minutes to go on this bid, and I looked at the guitar and I was like, fuck, it's all right. So I just went, I read the sales pitch and they said like there were problems, but they weren't exactly transparent with what the problem was. I bought it, got it here, and it's fucking gutting having a beautiful instrument sit in a bag for a month because you can't play it. So at first I couldn't quite figure out what was wrong because you're like, it's a PRS. What the fuck am I doing here? It sounds like shit. And the one thing that I kept coming across is that the strings were clunking on the frets. And so it didn't matter how high I raised the bridge adjustments, clunking. And so I took a look at the bigger picture and I was trying to comprehend what was really going on, and I had a bit of an aha moment. So they put 4 springs in the back. They originally come with 3. And this is a little something for anyone that wants bridge balanced guitars. Still not quite right. It's a little bit better. I'm convinced that 3 springs, you need 42s. Not 46s, not 48s, not 52s, 42s. There is a balance where you get the exact amount and it sits flat. I've got 46s on it and it's sitting up a little bit for standard tuning. So I'd have to go down to say, E minor, just down half a step possibly, maybe D for it to be flat. I want E, A, D, G, B, E. So I took a look at the bigger picture and they had 52s in it. And they had it wound all the way up and it sounded like shit and had a chip on top of it. And I was like, I've bought myself a lemon here. And as I looked further into it, turns out they dug out the nut. So as you do, you go looking for videos on nuts, just so you understand a few things. And you've got the choice between bone, plastic, and tusq. Now, if we hear this, here there's no tink, here there's no tink. Fucking plastic. So how to turn a disadvantage into an advantage. PRS guitar. I went, bugger it. I'll get a tusq Gibson nut. And it turned up, precise sizing. It was a little bit taller, so the one that I put on this guitar, I needed some 240 grain sandpaper and just rubbed it down to the right height. Now, here's the big part, because we get concerned about, playing games of our gear. Perfect fit, came in spot on. With these, when you take the strings off, you may have to cut in here just to try and free up the lacquer, but good guitar manufacturers will ensure that these can be removed. So all you got to do is remove the strings and put a nice wide flat edge and give it a basic tap and it'll dislodge. Once it's dislodged, you will look to try and get it to the standard of the original size. And what I came to realize is they were onto something where for the PRS standard, it's a little bit too high. So instead of trying to file out these, knock the nut off and take the height of the whole lot down. So I've got a Gibson tusq, T-U-S-Q, not elephant tusks, a, what was it? Just trying to, PTFE nut. It's a different technology, but it's full of energy. You can hear the tink, 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 tink. It's like glass, so you got a high resonance. So what I got out of someone who I bought a guitar off where the guitar was fucked, it turns out it wasn't. They tried to file that out. So I got a Gibson tusq nut, and I've actually been able to enhance the resonance of the guitar, and I fitted it yesterday, and with it, the new one that you put in, just a couple of dabs of glue, put it back into place so that it holds, but on a later date, if you ever need to take it out again, you can just give it a knock and then replace it. I'd hope to not replace this one, but just front running guitar, have a go at this. Finally, after having it for a month sitting there, because it's devastating having good instruments sitting there that have the friggin' potential, and I bought it thinking I was going to be able to just play it. Couldn't play it, it just sat there. But now, I had it laying down. So that's the neck pickup. That's the pair. Fucking immaculate. And then the cool thing is, it's great with distortion. So what I've ended up with is not just a PRS standard now, but with a top quality nut in it, and it's the fucking most beautiful thing I've almost ever played. It may sound as good as the Tremonti PRS for clean. So now I've got two fucking fantastic PRSs. So if you're contemplating getting a PRS standard, where my mistake sat by getting something that was half fucked, it was a bonus. Get a Gibson tusq, a real top-notch tusq nut. And you've just given it an upgrade, which is going to give it a resonating frequency, which will just make it sound that beautiful that inspires you to want to play it. There we go.